Yeah, we're
Sick.
yeah. I was supposed to do this like guest speaker thing at some college one time, but I actually didn't. I do that a lot. Like I'll oversleep and I just completely miss the meeting.
Damn.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key terrible. Even today, like I like you can ask like him. I do not like I'm in the studio till like do maybe like 5 a.m. every night, and then I like brain rot watch TV till like 6, 7,
Yeah.
and then I just like wake up at 3 and do it again. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you doing this honestly, because like
Yeah, man, of course.
when we're like did this like exclusive single for Apple Music that Can't See Your Face, they wanted to do like a press interview or something like that. And I was just like, bro, I told Sam, I was like, we're always kicking it. Just like, and it's like, we have the best convo, just talking about music. And like, I would rather have such a real convo about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, than just to do something that felt like not, everything up to this point been so like independent and so like unorthodox. And, that's why I was like, I definitely wanted to do something like this. That's why I was down. I'm like, I appreciate you did this.
Yeah,
especially
man.
in the studio. Like,
Yeah, of course, bro. I mean, Paramount's the spot. And, like as an engineer and a producer, you're meeting different artists. And in like my world here with major labels, you're oftentimes just talking to labels and A&Rs and you see how they move and like see how that part of the industry works. And then when it comes to working with independent artists, it's so like all over the map as to where like how dedicated people are, how hard people work. Some people
100%.
like, got families and jobs and they're juggling that. Some people are more like, TikTok, Instagram focused, and they're good at gaining an audience. And then you have people that are like cooking in the studio till 3 in the morning. And then so it's like people are doing it different ways. And it's always really cool and inspiring to see people that are doing it on their own. And, the industry changes so much. Like it's changing 100%. So fast. So to like when we kick it and we talk for like 3 hours, it's like
there's so much to talk about.
It's insight into the world of an indie artist. It's like I'm starting my business. Like like we're doing it right, and this is what's working for us. And it's always so cool because it's like what works now might not work this summer, might not work next year, and you guys are navigating that. And so it's like it's always really dope to just see like independent artists and how they're moving.
100%. I think that is like the hardest thing to do. I think also what's really is like I think it's been like we built a platform and there's like so much, and like having a social presence before a music debut, it's like so much more, I feel like, pressure. Or I think there is a lot more pressure because I think people are just judging you straight off the bat versus like you get to, we were just talking about this, like you get to cook as like a small artist and like, perform in a pub and perform here. Like no one really cares until you get discovered and you kind of work your way, versus when you already have that following and presence, it's a gift because you kind of start on a bigger scale and you have that attention, but it's also hard because you kind of can't like really get your sea legs under you. So, but yeah, no, like, I think like even Paramount alone, like that was also a reason like you're one of like 3 people that have heard the album. Yeah. And I think that like the respect that I feel like you've shown like after hearing it is different. I feel like, because I feel like you really appreciated the work and like saw the vision and like it was a world, not a playlist. It was not like just a track list. Like I feel like I'm really trying to build a world here. And like, wanting to step into like a lane that like there's no male pop stars now and just doing something different and like seeing that appreciation from you and Adam and even like Tough too, you like being like, yo, like this music's fire, and like really like fucking with the tracks, not just like fucking with them, but really like messing with them was like also like a big thing that like I really appreciated, especially because like you hear, I'm sure, a ton of music being in like
all over
like,
the place.
Like, like Paramount is like had like every artist you could ever think of in the best, working here. So I take that like with high respect and like appreciation. That's like, but honestly, we just be cooking though, like not even on a business level. I think even Gone by Tomorrow, like I was just like, we cooked that up. Like, that single's coming out too. But yeah, just being an independent artist and like trying to navigate your own way is like definitely difficult, especially when you have like nobody, like no blueprint, I feel like, of doing that. Like I want to be like,
no, there's no roadmap at all.
Absolutely, exactly, absolutely not. Especially when like I want to be like do something no one's ever done and like break barriers no one's ever been and be like one of the biggest artists to do it, and to be like the first one to ever do that like independently and not be like artist development case, because that's like out the window at this point. No one does that anymore. Yeah. So like that's why you have no male pop stars, because there's no artist development. So it's really all on you. So I basically like 1 in a million chance to do it, and finding new ways to create and to drop and to do press or whatever. Just even something like this is like, I think is the key to making it, is just being like authentic to yourself and not, conforming to that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so much harder when you're spending time like trying to find that authentic lane for yourself. And like you said, already having a really big social media presence, it's like you have like the cutting room floor on like exposed to everybody, as
Yeah,
opposed to just like here's the final product, like here's something really dope that we did. Like having to navigate that as a young artist who's like still figuring out their sound,
exactly.
And it's like you see people working on songs that are trying to emulate other artists, or it's not that they're not authentic, but it's really easy to get caught up in the business side of the music industry, and you're trying to make money off of this, and you're trying to create a brand, and so like you are being inspired by people that are doing it and it's working, and then there's like that lane where it's like, this person just dropped this record, people really like this, like let's do something like that. And
Yeah,
it's not like you're ripping people off, it's just like, hey, people make this music and like they like it, and that inspires me, and I want to make music like that too, and like that's a lane that works. And then there's like, I'm gonna be in the studio by myself cooking till 3 in the morning, like figuring some shit out on my own that nobody's ever heard before.
yeah,
Talk about
exactly.
that a little bit, like how the sound that you have, and you have some really dark like industrial sounding stuff. You have really cool synth like Mike Dean influenced style
Yeah.
synth patches and stuff like that. Like how did you get there? You were telling me a little bit about you making beats in high school for people like on the hip hop side, and then getting into this pop world.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely started doing like, I used to do these like dollar beats and just cooking and just,
Yeah.
just that's how it was. It was just the love of music. And then I kind of came into it, moved out to LA, like the classic Hollywood story, like nothing. Like, I wasn't like a Nepo or anything like that. Like I moved out to LA, like I was delivered, like driving, like Uber, like, just to stay out here. This was like maybe 4 years ago, and that kind of led to realizing I wanted to come at it at a different angle. Everything's been different, from the music to even the way like I've came out as an artist, and came about the marketing side of it, and knowing that like I wanted a platform and just a social presence, but I didn't want sticky content like a TikTok artist or anything
Yeah.
like that. So, I started realizing like soon, like people could like pay to get paparazzi, and that was like a thing people were doing.
Yeah.
I started doing that, and just like, I did like 2-3 times, and then like it just garnered a ton of attention. I think that's when I really realized like, yo, I'm different. Like I really do think I have just that energy about me that I think like most like couple pop stars have had, where you just like garner views and people just like kind of resonate with you. And those videos started to get like 5 million views, 10 million views, 20 million views a week, just off paparazzi videos. And I wasn't doing anything, like no brand other than that. It was like, but it was just like my like idea to like gain a following, and people genuinely started to follow me in paparazzi just to get content, because they were making money off this shit. I think again like
Wow.
$1,000 every million views. So like, and I didn't see a penny of that either. So I was still
Yeah.
like delivering, actually, like low key on the side. And then it kind of like became a thing. And then until I started building enough following where I started to get brand deals, and then I realized I could change it and kind of have more of a brand. And a lot of people were being like, "Who is this? What is happening?" Because it was like a different marketing thing.
You just exploded immediately with no
Exploded.
music out.
Yeah, no
you know?
music. And I remember sitting in my apartment with my brother and being like, "Yo, we need to like pivot now."
Yeah.
And like
Before we start doing dances on TikTok and shit,
yeah,
we gotta,
exactly,
do something
yeah.
else.
Yeah, so it was great though. It got me a huge following. After like 400 million views later on some like, have like 4 million followers on Instagram, like 400,000 on TikTok, and like 500K on YouTube. And so it was great to gain that following, but I think it was just, there was no brand. But there's also
Yeah.
something interesting of people just like not having that brand, actually, because it was perfect when I transitioned to music that people had that. But I was like, we need to pivot in music, and like having to navigate that when like I have no sense. Like all I know was the craft of music and how to like cook
Yeah.
on my own, and like just the love I had. I had no idea about the industry or anything like that, which is actually like really fun, because like speaking of labels, like I'm still indie. Like I wasn't ready to put a pen to a paper, but I like went to the first place I thought, which was just like reaching out to labels, and I made like
Yeah.
a demo and like a couple of demos. I think they're like 15-second demos. That was literally all I
Damn.
had, and just reaching out to people, and like sending emails everywhere. No indies responded, no minors responded, and then we got this email from Republic Records, like the SVP wanted to meet and fly us out to New York, and we flew out to New York and met them. And we never really knew who they were, because we never emailed them, and
Yeah.
they kind of reached out to us.
They found you, okay.
And then we realized that like Lucian Grange was the one that forwarded the email to them, which is actually fucking wild.
That's
Because like
crazy,
we
man.
sent that email just because it was like my brother was like, dude, we should just send it just like, and I was, there's no way, like, you know, and like that, and we like have that email, like he was the one that forwarded it to Republic to like fly
So
out
you
there.
sent Lucian Grange an email.
Yeah, with like a demo.
Wild.
And like he forwarded that to like the SVP at Republic, and then she emailed us, and we flew out there. I met, and like they were great. We had great conversations, and we played them some music. It was still really early on, so like we weren't ready to like sign anything. But it was
They
just
trying to offer you something at the time though?
No.
Okay.
No. There was
They
like
just wanted to chop it up.
yeah, we just chopped it up, and like they just wanted to hear more music, and we didn't have. That's literally when we went back and started crafting this album. And I started realizing though after taking more meetings, I like, and they were great. And like, you know, I think there's definitely a place for majors when you start to hit those levels. I'm definitely gonna like hopefully like sign at some point when the time is right. But there's definitely a point too where just being independent's great as well. Like you can don't box yourself in and think that's who you need, because at the time that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought like I need this, and I wish I would have known earlier on. Like you just need to like focus on grinding the music, the vision, the brand, and know where you're going. And the rest will follow, and like people will resonate with that, and like the fans is the most important part.
Yeah.
But
like you did that on your own. You know, it's like
exactly.
labels spend so much time and energy just trying to create the brand around the artist. You know, it does seem like they look for artists that already have somewhat of a following just to have it as a proof 100%. Of concept. And then they have to do that on their own. But I mean, just like, you know, any brand, whether you're like a fitness influencer or an artist or whatever you're doing, you know, it's like the hardest part is how do I get enough eyes on me? Like I have, you know, it's like you're thinking like I have this great product, I have this great service, I have my art, and I really just want to share it with the world. You know, but the first, like I have to find the people to share it with, and like figuring that part out, like how to connect with people in a authentic way is so hard. You're talking about being independent, and to me that's one of the most exciting parts of the music industry, because I do work with indie artists in like the developmental sense, and then I work with all the major labels. You know, here at Paramount, it's like, you know, most of our business is major labels, and so you see now like labels like trying stuff, they're trying lots of different stuff, they're trying to keep up, and it's like almost the formula they apply is like what you and your brother did, you know? And so it's like when you come into this world and you blow up on social media because of your efforts and your brother's agency, it's like, that's an indie niche agency that your brother has, you know, like that, that's what's really, really cool about the industry right now, is you have these niche companies that can do that, you know, and I'm seeing people that work at labels, people that have been my friends forever that are, you know, big A&Rs or, you know, A&R consultants or people that work in pub or distro, and they, you know, they work with these labels. The labels do a restructure and they get cut, and then they go to another label, and then 8 months later there's another restructure and they get cut, and they're just like, yo, I know all the people, like I know how to do this. And so they start their own like artist development company or A&R consulting company, or these niche distro companies that are popping up on the internet everywhere. And it's like, that to me is so cool, because it's, you know, it's the same people, you know, it's the people that know how to do this, and it's the people that have always been in this industry that care about art, but they've only had the labels to work for, to do that, because the labels have the resources and the ability to do that. And now, like more than ever, you have like the tools to be able to do this on your own. And so you just see like the ether that is, how do we break artists, and how do we do that? That was, you know, beholden to labels and kind of this like gate kept industry. You know, it's like this room used to be, you know, like $3,000 a day, and an engineer was $2,500 a day, and you had to run that tape machine, and you had to know how to use this console. It's like indie artists weren't making singles in their bedrooms. Like you couldn't do that. You had to like save up or get discovered in order to get into this room, and like you don't have to do that anymore. You know, it's like you guys, we have 3 cameras here that you can afford and like edit and do it yourself. You know, it's like anybody can make a website and learn how to tap into the algorithms. And I think that's so exciting. You know, it's from the labels to niche companies, and then people like you guys, which are just doing it on your own. 100%. You know what I mean? Like the labels relied on so much of this infrastructure that they had that's now accessible to everybody. You know what I mean? And that's what's so exciting right now, is like it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game. There's no roadmap, no blueprint, like we were talking about. Like it really is anybody's game, and you guys like came out the gate with that. You know?
I think that like longevity too was always a big thing. I feel like breaking art, like I've taken a lot of meetings and talked to a lot of people in the industry like over the last like couple years, and I think that like that question of always saying like, I would always go into every meeting saying like, I want to be the best like pop star there is, and like there's no male pop star, like I'm gonna do this, like I'm coming for this, like, you know. And they would always be like, well, how, like there's no male pop stars, why is that, like how do you break that? And that would always be the question nowadays, because no one's really broken as like that big of a male pop star since TikTok has became what it is and changed the industry. And I think I've never really worried about the breaking part. I think that's just being authentic and having the fans. But I think the longevity is the new thing that is like you see artists having a more harder time with. Like artists will pop off and win a Grammy and get really big, and then like the longevity, you know. And I think that's where I really zoned in on performing and making that a big focus moving forward too. It was, I think performing is like a huge thing. I think it's probably the most important thing. It's what makes like music really come to life and not just be like on your headset. And I think a lot of modern and newer artists aren't really doing that too well. And you see them doing very smaller venues. And I don't even think it's about the venue, honestly, because like, you know, we're doing Intuit Dome, this like witness history event that like I really want to do. And it's like, picked a huge stadium to do it.
So we got to back up for a second. So you just said you're about to do.
But to rewind, on the venue thing, I'm doing these like pop-up tours leading up to it, where it's only 100 people. We're doing one in New York for 3 nights, one in Soho, one in and like we don't even have the address until, or we have it, but we don't release it until like the day of. And then we kind of just like put it on my gram and like a free entry, and like people just crowd the streets, and it's like maybe there's 100 people, but that's 100 motherfuckers that came that really want to support you, and like, you know, that's what it's about. It's not about, and I think when you really do shit like that, like you really cultivate an audience, and they start to realize like, yo, this kid like really just loves music and like loves, like wants people to like enjoy his music. And that's like my forefront. I think that will help me in the longevity later on, is like, you know, being that artist is always putting like fans first and not putting the dollar first, you know what I'm saying? Putting that like, you know, really putting that that at the forefront, but just performing in general. But the music obviously got to be there to perform. But
so that's what I think is also really exciting right now. And I want to like do the roadmap of you guys realizing, you know, I have to cultivate an audience, you know, and you guys put in the work to cultivate the social media following. And then you met with some labels, and you're like, all right, we got to get the music together. So you started putting the music together, and then you're like, let's do the Intuit Dome. We got to talk about that in a second, which is crazy. And then now, or not now, but you're transitioning into, okay, the next move is these smaller intimate shows for fans. Right. And I think that's really cool in that, you know, I think in the past handful of years, the concept for artists is I need as many eyes on me as possible, you know, and it's like, and all the effort goes into gaining that following, which you already did. And so talk a little bit about like, we need the following, that's important. Okay, we got to get all the music together, that's really important, to, you know, this like counter thought of, instead of trying to get millions of followers, like let's do something really cool for 100 people in one spot. You know, it's like it's the opposite of the internet and like virality. It's intimate, and you had to be there shows. So like, what was the process of you guys, you know, when did you realize that was going to be important, and like why did you think that's important, you know?
I think that just we planned the I think it actually backtracked, because I think we actually were heading straight for Intuit Dome. That was like the original plan. And I kind of came in and was like, you know, I really want to like do something for the fans that are just like really loyal, you know. And like, I think that a lot of people, there was a lot of misconception about me because I came at it such a different way. And I think even on the internet today, there's still a lot of like questions on like, you know, people didn't really like believe in like my success or my talent or my reach. And I think I like, for example, one time I went to a Skims event. I didn't even know I was going to a Skims event. I went to get pancakes at Mel's drive-in, and I got mobbed by a bunch of girls outside. It's like the key demographic, and it kind of blew like the fuck up. And it was around like the debut of my last single. And I think people still were just like, damn, that's crazy. Like, can he do it again though? Can he do it? And I was like, dude. And when we were talking about Intuit Dome the other time, I saw this video again, and I was like, bro, we should just do something for these fans that, it was raining too, that would sit in the rain and take a photo. Like, even if I'm not like the biggest artist yet, like I know I'm going to that place, but right now I'm still on the smaller side, but I still have like that loyal 100 people that will pull up, or that loyal 500 people that pull up to a free thing on fucking, you know, in Soho, and I'm just like on a fire escape, just like perform like 3 tracks for them, like that. That's not out. There's something so dope about that. That's just like, they didn't pay any money. They just pulled up and like, you know, and then going.
Because they just wanted to be there.
Yeah, they just wanted to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's so intimate. It's so like fan driven. I think like putting your fans first is like what's gonna keep your longevity. You know, and I think doing Intuit Dome show was huge, because I was like, again, that was another reason I really wanted to do the show, was the credibility, just to prove like, yeah, like I'm coming for that top spot, and like ain't nobody gonna stop me. Like I'm gonna do this on my own. and that's why it was called Witness History, because it was like I'd be the first artist to independently sell out an arena before any album has ever came out, which is fucking
That's
crazy.
bro.
Yeah, insane. And we already got like 5,000 pre-sale tickets sold. And I just think things that like, and I was kind of like, damn, this is insane. It's happening so fast, and we're doing like, you're doing production walkthroughs, you're doing rehearsals and all this. And the main conversation was like, yo, like, I really just want to like do something for the fans more intimate. I also saw that Taylor Swift documentary. She's doing like this big arena. I'm like, there's something that like loses the intimacy in like in performing. And like I watch like anything that's music. I've probably seen every biopic. I've probably seen every documentary. I've probably listened to like 80% of every top album like there is.
Yeah.
Like I studied that, and I think one thing everyone that the tops and the greats have had in common is like they just performed like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like realistic. Man. They just really can do it. And I think even seeing at the Grammys, like Bieber's performance was so like intimate, and I think people just like it's just like refreshing in a world where it's like everything is getting so much more shorter attention span. Everything is getting so, you know what I'm saying? I think to slow it down and everything's getting bigger and bigger shows and how many more streams and everything, and it'd be like, nah, like I don't care about. I want to do something cool, just about the music, about the fans. It's just important to me, and I think it's just something about that just like makes my soul feel good. So,
yeah, we were talking about the Grammys, and it's like watching Bieber come out there in his underwear with a guitar and a looper. It's like how many tours has Bieber gone on in stadiums with like the biggest production you could ever imagine? But it's like there's something about that that you just immediately connect with.
Everyone fucks with
It's like the recording could be bad, it doesn't even matter, like the production doesn't matter. It's not competing with something at a production level. It's just like you see that and you lock in. And that's why I think like your pop-up events are going to be really cool, and that it's like it gets you experience connecting with fans, and it's like that's gonna light you up more than any follow, like, comment ever.
There's definitely
dude. Just like 50 people that you've never seen before, and you're like, I can't believe you guys got in your car or an Uber and like drove here to come see me. And it looks so much more
than it is, honestly. Like even when I was at the Mills event, I was thinking like, dude, it felt like there was 5,000 people around me. There's probably like 40.
Yeah.
But he was like, and the adrenaline spike when you're just like surrounded and taking photos and. I think I like didn't know what to do. I don't even think I picked up my pancakes, honestly. I think I left, honestly. And I dead ass dipped. Like I was walking down the street, I thought they'd just like chill and like stay at the event. I was just gonna dip out and like go get something else, And I'd go get IHOP on like La Cienega, like fucking,
Yeah.
But like I was walking down and dude, they just like chased me. They completely chased me on the street. And like I was just like, dude, I was with Sammy at the time. He was at Mel's still, and he had the keys.
Yeah.
And I was at the car, just like, dude,
fuck, I can't get in the car.
I was like, bro, I need the keys. And he was like, oh, I'm coming. Like, I was like, bro. And I was like, dude, I'm tripped. I was like, I'm done, dude. It was actually kind of crazy because I never expected that to happen. It was just like, it just happened.
Yeah.
And then this guy that was actually working out at the Equinox across the street made a video and like posted it from his point of view. I was like, who is this? It's crazy. But I think there's been a lot of that, like the who is this and like who is Ryan Halsa, and there's a lot of that because we came out such a different way and garnered so much attention.
Yeah.
And really everything I do just gets a ton of views. Like people will make a video about me and get a ton of views. And it's just like, I think that kind of gave me the confidence too, going into an industry like this, of being like, yo, like I have that. I just have that, it's just that thing you can't really like teach. That, and I think it really helped me navigating through all this and just having the confidence to like go perform and do something like Intuit Dome, like an arena before an album, and not be like, I haven't felt nervous about it once, and to do a rehearsal in front of 80 people and, in an empty arena, and have to sing on a raw mic, and it's just like, and not feel nervous about it. But, yeah, I'm definitely excited for the pop-up tours. The only thing I will say that like the worst part about it, since I've announced it, is and I think this is like the worst part, is like, and I think it's the worst part about having like a following and a name, is like people will use your name to scam people and be like, yo, like we're selling tickets for this, and it's
what's that like right now?
So like that's kind of what
all the scammers on the internet,
bro. It's just, dude, it's so annoying. Like it's the worst thing, because these are people that like fuck with your music the most, that fuck with you the most, and want to come to an event for you.
Yeah.
And to see that like, yo, they're getting scammed by someone using your name, like sucks the most. So like that's why like I think I posted being like, yo, like no one's ever gonna charge you for these pop-ups. address is gonna be posted on the gram, pull up free, like it's on the sidewalk, like it's just like
Yeah.
a fucking vibe, like you don't need to take, you know what I'm saying, like it's just chill, you know, and it's just like that's probably the worst part, you know. Also merch, like, you know, like there's no merch out yet.
Yeah.
But I think that's the hardest thing about being like having hype around you and coming at a different angle, but not releasing yet.
Yeah.
There's so much of that, you know. Also, leak
It's a
music,
ton of pressure, dude.
music leaks
Yeah.
too. I keep that very tight. The circle of like who I share my music with and listen. I think 3 people have heard the album, including like you, and that was
Yeah.
like a reason I wanted to do this. Is like, you know. But there's a ton of pressure. There's a ton of stuff you don't even like realize. Coming into this, you just think about like being a big artist and wanting because I came into just from music, and it's so much bigger than that. There's a brand, there's a business side. There's people you got to get on. There's, you know, if you want to do this pop-up tour, you got to get permits. You got to figure this out. Like, don't fall off the fire escape. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, do this rooftop thing. Like, even the show, like Intuit Dome, like some arenas won't do it if you don't have a promoter or pass ticket thing. There's so much that goes into it.
Yeah.
So to do it on our own and find, you know, people that believe in us and people that like, you know, see where we're going. I think it's very great, and I'm definitely like thankful for it. But I think it also benefit them like once we're the biggest artists in the world, and like, you know,
You got
I
in
continue
early.
to go to Intuit. Yeah, you know,
you got in
Yeah,
early. So what
exactly.
do you do to help, you know, like stay grounded? Like you said, this all happened so fast as far as the following before the music,
Yeah.
but you know, you're a music guy. Like, you got into this for music. You're not an influencer. You're an artist. And
Yeah,
you tell
I
me all the
think
time, like, I miss appearances because I'm just in the studio all night. Like, all I want to do is
Yeah.
just be in the studio.
I don't even go to means really anymore. I just chill, you know.
Yeah.
I don't go on dates anymore, low key. Like I
just
just
in
like
the studio, man, just locked in.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
something so beautiful about like not like being like just being single, just not caring, just being like I could, but like I just don't want to. I just want to cook,
Yeah.
and make music, and like I just
You got
think-
plenty of time to do all that kind
yeah,
of stuff, man.
I think
you know?
smoking, I smoke a lot. Low key.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing. No, yeah, just like, you know, I smoke a lot of cigars, man. You know, just whatever, you know, just to chill and vibe and make music and keep my head clear. You know, but it's a big thing. I have this Saving Lives in Social Silence project I do, which is like why my comments are off on anything. They're off on everything, really. And I think it's a big thing. I think that like negativity and that hate that comes and like everyone having such a big opinion, you know, is just even a good opinion. I mean, like, you know, like I love like anyone that, you know, enjoys the music but like I want the music to stay as pure as possible and not have those like people in my head being like this is good, and then I only make shit like this, or this is bad, and then I don't ever want to experiment with this kind of synth ever again.
Because people shut it down.
People shut down, but maybe if I wouldn't have heard that, it did suck, but maybe after I keep experimenting for 2 more weeks on it, I'm gonna crack a dope ass pop song with some synth. So I feel like that's like a big thing, just that like opinion based, just keeping my head out of it. I just don't look into all this shit. There's so much that comes with it. But yeah, staying grounded is definitely like one of I think the hardest thing to do, and just always focusing on the craft, the music, the performance, the next thing, just being busy.
Yeah.
It's probably the best, you know. I'm also blessed that like, you know, I'm 22, so I've definitely lived my fair share of like high school and, you know, smoking weed for the first time, and I'm not coming into this being like, yo, just like I've never, you know, you know, like I think it sucks
Like
when,
doing drugs and girls and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I've
it's all a
definitely
distraction.
I think people have like people come in this industry at a young age, or even just from a random like a state like Kansas or something, and like LA's completely different, you know. Like I grew up 30 minutes out, like in the IE, so like I grew up around LA my whole life, so nothing was really foreign to me.
Yeah, it took me like 3 years to figure it out because I moved here from North Carolina, and it was just like weed's legal. All the girls are so hot. It's warm all the time, you know. And like I got to focus and like get my feet wet in the music industry. I'm completely broke. I'm living out of my car, but like those first 3 years were just like a whirlwind of like, you know, trying this, doing this, going to these places, meeting these people that do this crazy shit, meeting these people with a shit ton of money. And just you meet all these people, and you're trying to
party, and you're just like you see everything for the first time, like what the fuck? Like,
and you're trying to find your own lane, man. But like I come from a farming town, and like I'm a music dude too. Like I don't have social media, like I don't do any of that shit.
You don't.
And it's like you come out here and you're like, fuck, I got to do this. I got to get a chain. I got to get like I got to get some shoes. I got to like go to this place. I got to like meet these people. I got to take a picture with this person, and then you realize like the people that inspire me the most and the people that are getting the work done, like you don't even know most of those people. Like
Yeah.
they're here, like they're just here
Yeah.
locked in, like
Cooking.
working on the craft, you know. And it's like
Exactly.
if you do that, you'll meet all the people that you need to meet. And it's, you know, like you don't, like you have to work for it. You definitely have to build a network and you have to work for that.
100%.
But
Yeah.
it's not going to be about like what you're wearing or who you know or anything. Like if you
Yeah.
are talented and you're genuine and you're here to work, like that'll speak for itself and people will want to be around you for that.
100%.
You know.
I think it's yeah. I agree completely. Even like I just think like you know the people like you said like the people that are really doing stuff like they're in the shadows. You know what I'm saying? They're
100%,
working in the
Yeah.
studio. You know like even I went with when we did Crash Out. You know we worked on and I played the whole album. We did a lot of stuff with Dawson, Andrew Dawson, who did like you know worked with Kanye 20 years, like 4-time Grammy winner, and like we went to link with him. And he's out in Arizona.
Yeah,
It's
just
like,
laying low.
bro. Just like yeah,
Just
like
laying low.
but like you know, such a chill guy, like such a chill environment, and like you know that's where I recorded Crash Out, and like I pulled up, and I remember I was like, he was like we could do like he was gonna come to LA or this. I was like, bro, I'll pull up there. Like I need a like
Get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a break, you know. I think I flew there and like Sammy drove, and then he made me drive back with him, bro. But now it was hella chill and like but LA man like you know that is a hard thing to navigate. Like you really do meet everybody out here, and I think that it was different because when I first came out, he was around like 2019 or 2020 2021 and like so I was going to my first couple of parties and like seeing every influencer in the world at these
Yeah.
parties like high off their fucking mind. It's just like so fucking funny to see. It's just like so different, you know. It's just like and have it just being like, dude, like, but that's what I really realized too is if I lock in and I'm just like, yo, I'm here for music. I'm here to like be the fucking best.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna fucking beat me because everyone out here is just like they're in it for the buck or they're in it for this, they're in it for that, and like I think there's very few people that are in it just to be the best. Like I used to tell people this in meetings. Like I think I told like we had an meeting with Interscope, Sam Interscope, who's like a great guy. I told him like it's literally like if someone went to the army, I was like, yo, I just want to kill people. You'd be like, this motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't want the pension. Like,
Yeah.
This motherfucker's crazy. It's like that's like I just want to make dope records. I just want to be the best fucking person that there's ever been, and like you know at this and like I've really always been about that, about the music, and it's never been about the money or how much streams or whatever it is. Like of course streams like I want to be the top, but it's never been about like anything else or how much like women I could get or drugs or whatever it is or partying. It's always been about the music. And I think that's what's always kept in my forefront. It kept me like just trailblazing. Like
Yeah.
even when shit gets hard and you know family shit, life shit happens, I'm always just like stay busy and stay like fucking laser focused.
Yeah, man.
And I think also just like stepping in the industry, like if you always have that attitude, just music first and not like business first too, it's probably the best thing you could do because that's how it was with Dawson. That's how it was even like here, like you know, like I feel like a lot of people will be like they won't even take a meeting without like a producer without a deposit. And
Yeah.
it's like, bro, it's about the music. Like we haven't even seen like if we both can sauce on this yet, you know?
Yeah.
And like you figure it out, and if you make a dope record, like we both eat, and that was like the vibe with everything I've ever done, you know. And I think that's like my forefront is like always being music based, you know. What's the best thing for the record? Put your ego down. Like you cannot have an ego when you make music. Like it has to be about
Yeah.
the
just
music.
vibing out.
Yeah, 100%.
Talk about that a little bit because you're a producer and a writer and a singer. Like you do a lot of this stuff
Yeah.
yourself. So like, what's your process like for putting these songs together? I know you worked with Dawson.
Yeah, well, Dawson was great with like Crash Out because it was such a different piece,
Mm-hmm.
and he just vocal engineered on it. But even him, like who won awards for like you know Grammys for producing for Kanye, was like blown away with my beats and producing, and I think that was like a real like confidence booster. But I think Can't See Your Face, which is the single you know we're talking about, and like you know it's coming out. Was the first one that I really did fully independent. That song literally was made in my room, like off you know just fucking. I made that shit on my own, not even thinking it was gonna be made like that. And I produced it, I engineered it, you know, I sang on it, I did the back everything, a vocal arrangement. Like I didn't have like the whole thing that I normally do, like we're collaborating with people.
Yeah, yeah.
I think a lot of everything I've been doing has been really independent. But the process is different for every song. You know, it could be a really like melody driven. Like I have like just like a really good melody that I want to write to, and you know then I'll put a synth layer under it. I think that's always been like a great That's like the one secret I'll drop is like I think I really fuck with, and I think a lot of people like even like Day He Died, that track you really
bro.
like, that synth that goes along with the melody.
Yeah.
When you find that perfect, rhythm, man, that shit just like
You just find that good melody, and then you just got to add stuff to it without fucking
building on
you
it,
know?
and just I think I'm really good at hearing what's shit and just being like every artist is gonna make dog shit at some point.
Yeah.
Every time I step in the studio, I make just bad stuff, but it's just like knowing what to just. It's just like you just gotta filter it out. You just gotta keep like making stuff until the good stuff comes, and then keep that and build upon that. And I think it really helps once you have like a beat that's really good too. When you find that melody and you find that beat, and then that's the best part. And I think like even you who makes music too, like is like there's an adrenaline like you can't like explain, like a high.
How did I get here? Like you were
when
saying,
you finish
like
that,
you got to make a bunch of bad beats to
or
make
you just
a good
finish that
one.
one hook and you're just like, dude, and everyone's fucking with it, and it's just like, dude, that's just nuts. That's probably the one of the best feelings like you could feel 100%.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of this album has been really wanting to create a world, and create like I think The Weeknd has done that really well. I think Michael Jackson did that really well. I think creating like a world and a space, and like the way I write isn't really like a journal. It's more of like a fiction. Like I feel like I go and step into these worlds and write. There are a couple tracks that are definitely like more close to home.
Yeah.
Where Did You Go? Like you've heard that one. That's a crazy record that may never come out. No. But even Can't See Your Face actually was kind of like it was kind of like emotionally driven, I guess. I was going through a breakup at the time, so it's kind of I think it's like a perfect. It just fits perfectly, and I think it's a very universal track. And it's just dope to perform too. We did like a guitar live version, like electric guitar instead of the synths that we've been cooking for these pop-up tours to do like an electric guitar, like, too. It's just kind of dope. And we're also going to release a live, we're recording one of the New York shows. So we're like going to have like some recording there. We're going to like try to release an EP of like a live version.
Yeah.
Which takes actually a lot more work than you think just to record that. Like,
that's what I was saying earlier. It's like when you see artists do these shows, just from like a content standpoint, like you can be at home in your room with like dope lights, and try to put out something that's compelling, but to actually like book the show, like get the permits, do the ticketing, fight the scammers, like do all that, put on that show, and then gain content and clip that shit and put it out there. It's like people can feel that too. They're like, oh, this person put in a lot of work to make this content
100%.
as opposed to just at home on their iPhone.
100%,
And it's like people connect to that, and then that makes people go, I want to see when he's coming to my town.
Yeah.
Like I really want to go be a part of this experience.
And that's kind of what I was like. I was like, dude, like I really just want to build, like I have a huge following, a huge social presence. But like the fandom was smaller because it grew in just a different way. It wasn't music driven, like, So I was really like wanting to put that in the forefront and build and just start and just build and focus on that. And like live performing, there's something definitely like there's an appreciation for that for artists. I think that like go through that and put that on, and like it's unorthodox, it's weird, it's uncomfortable. Like it's you have no room to jump. You know what I'm saying? I'm on a fire escape. That's like where it's New York. Like it's just like where you gotta be careful, and like there's a lot that goes into it. But it's the best job I think that you could probably have. I mean, like like I sometimes like damn, like I'm like I see people I went to high school with that are like working at insurance companies or like and just like
ain't nothing wrong with it, but man,
there's nothing wrong with it, but it's
not
just like
at all, man. But
it's just like like I just feel like I'm blessed that like that's what I got to. If that's your dream, that's your dream,
Yeah.
But I'm blessed that like music is like something that is, like I said, that's what keeps me grounded, yet that's also like my profession, so it's like it helps in both ways. And like I'm sure you can relate to, like there's some moments where like you'll be out and you're just like, bro, I wish I was at the studio just like alone, just
all
cooking,
the
bro.
time, man. All the
like,
time. So we're like, come out of this thing tonight. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be dope. It's Friday night. We got to go there. I got to get my girlfriend. I got to get her ready. We got to get some food. We got to get out here. And I'm just like, you hear something, and you're like, I could flip that, Or like
Yeah,
I got a dope
yeah,
idea in
yeah.
my head. I'm just like, fuck, I'm out here. It's loud. I really just want to be in the studio, like
Chilling.
making music. I think like that was the moment for me too, because I've done a lot of different things in LA. Like I built studios. I was a
Yeah.
mixing engineer for a long time. And I always produced and worked with artists. And I got to a point one time where I was like this is all going really well. But like I came out here to make music, you know, and it's like I did it for money. Like I mixed songs for money and I did studios for money. Like I learned to love that and like the recording industry and all these people involved with it are my family out here.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't dislike it, but I got to a point where I'm like, I really came out here to make music, and that's what I want to do. And I started like I flipped my studio from a sterile mixing room into like a collaborative like writing space, and I just started doing that more. And I started turning down mixing work, and like I mix for all the homies and people that I've always worked with. I'll do that, but it freed up so much space to like just create. You know, it's like when I'm working with other artists like on a deadline, it's like it's like a job. Like I get going to the studio. I have to finish these songs by Friday. I have to get the notes out. I have to get it to mastering or whatever it is. But to be able to pull up to the studio and like smoke some weed and just be like, let's figure out how this arpeggiator works tonight for no reason, you know? And then I found myself, like we were saying, like you're out and you're like, fuck, I just want to be in the studio. And like, I was never out at dinner or something like, man, I wish I was mixing somebody's record right now. You know what I mean? But it's like that like attachment you have to making music, and that like it just completely re-inspired me in LA, and like I dropped off a lot of things that
it's refreshing.
like weren't serving me in ways. I was doing it for money, or I was doing it because I'd always done it. And now it's like
there's a piece in it.
Yeah, like the cutting room floor in my studio, like all the songs I'm making, like I'm on house shit right now. I'm like on this techno vibe right now. I'm on this hip hop beats right now. Like there's just like this cutting room floor of all the things I'm working on, and you know, it's like that doesn't pay me anything right now. You know what I mean? But like that makes me feel better than anything in the world, is like leaving the studio being like, I made 5 beats today, 4 of them are trash, but the 5th one has this really cool thing, and I can't wait to come in here tomorrow and like figure that shit out.
Well, that's like
know?
that's the beauty. I think that's the beauty of being able to like mix on your own though, and not having. I think a lot of artists will come in and be like some artists really can't do anything besides sing, and like they need someone to mix, hit record, hit this. I think when you can like produce, mix, like play a keyboard, like do everything on your own, like there's bro, it's fun now.
It's
you
so
unlock
much fun,
this fucking playground that you can just like always fuck with, and like it's just so chill.
Did you hear that motherfucker from Suno saying music's not fun to make? It's not fun to make music now. The guy that created Suno was doing an interview, and they were asking him like, why are you making this? And he's like, making music isn't fun now. Like it's really hard. You have to spend a lot of time like learning how to do stuff, and most people don't like that. Like Suno allows you to just make music quicker, and it's not as hard. And I'm just like, dude, that's the whole fun part of this, is like getting a new synth that you have no idea how to work, and like spend 4 hours and be like, fuck this thing sucks. And then you're just like, nah, I got to figure this out.
You know,
exactly. Like that makes
it
so much fun.
It's like the best part. I remember the first time I got a keyboard with like I got like a MIDI keyboard, and where you could like sample, like you could put any sound on it. You know, even like the first time I got like a looper track, you know, like that shit's just like, bro, you'd be in there for hours just like cooking like. And then I remember the first time my original keyboard I got, I was younger. I was just like battery driven, so I could bring it anywhere. And I was like, bro, I'm fucking down. I brought that shit, like, bro, I was like outside of my front yard, just like sunset type shit. Got my headphones on, it just like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing too, but it was just like that's just the time of your life, you know. And like I think even like I told you this too, like I even tell my brother sometimes, like, dude, like I make this pop music and I make this album that I like really like put my best foot forward to make the best thing I can do. But sometimes, bro, I have other pieces of work that I will work on. Like, you know, I have another album that no one's ever heard. Like some R&B shit, some slow shit that I fuck with. And I just play, and I listen like a lot of the times I'll just go and cook up on it. And like, bro, I like add a new track and record and cut this, and just like, and doing that with the idea that like no one is ever gonna hear this. Like I literally have that on my brain. Like I don't think I'll ever put this out to anyone. But that keeps it so like honest, and it's just the best thing in the world, because it's just like you don't gotta worry about this vocal not being clear, or this melody being whatever. It's like whatever you want to, or saying whatever you want to be, or singing whatever you want to sing, and that keeps it refreshing though. And I've realized the more that I like do that, when I do step in the studio, or I do step into a space to work on a pop song, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel draining. I feel refreshed, because I switch genres almost. Kind of like, you know, I've been cooking on a different thing, something slower. I'm not just like listening to pop music 24/7. And I think, or even using my brain to create something like that. So I feel like it definitely helps. It's kind of like a rehab for my like creative mind. which has actually been like a real surprise. And I think I'm just creating like the best music I've created, like pop wise, while I've been doing that. And I think just having that love for music and just cooking up and just buying new equipment,
like for no reason.
Yeah,
You're like, I'm gonna make this R&B
reason.
album that nobody's gonna hear for no reason other than I just like
just
to do this.
Yeah, just because it's so dope.
And I think that's a misconception too for people that don't make music, is like you hear this song and you really like it and you think like, oh, this artist went in the studio and just made this song.
Yeah.
It's like, no, that's like 6 months later of making 100 songs and 100 versions of that song
and
before
most of the
that
time,
one came out.
Hella different opinions on it, or writers, and that all, there'd probably be 8 different versions.
All the accidents that led to that song happening. It's like, how many times are you working on a beat and you're like, let me fuck with some presets or something, and then you scroll across a preset and you're like, oh, that's dope. Let me trash the session. I'm making a new song with this preset, and it was just an accident. You just came across something.
Sometimes I'll be in the studio and I'll be working on something, and I'll literally I'll like record maybe, and it'll be on some stuff, and people be like, that's a great take, all this, and I'll just delete it all.
Yeah,
just because I'm just like, you know what, like I don't even want to go through it. Like I just want to I just don't feel like it was there. And people are like, what the fuck, you just deleted it? And I'm like, nah, bro, like you have to just sometimes like let that shit speak. And like I think too with music, especially pop music, like, or even getting a good take, like bro, like I hate when people come into and I'm sure like 99% of engineers would say this, when people be like, dude, like like being like, yo, this take needs to be better, you need to edit this, you need to do this, put more tune on it, put more of this. Like if your take is good, you could have nothing on it, you could have a reverb, you could have a fucking no compressor, and it sounds good. Like 99% of the time it is your take.
It's in the performance.
Yes, it is your
the
take.
Energy.
Exactly.
Man, I used to engineer a lot, and like there is so many times you'd get with an artist and they've been writing the song, they haven't really performed it out, like like they're gonna jump on the mic and you have to work, like you have to work on this, you're not like ready on this. It's not ready, that's fine. Like you got to work it out, figure out what your melodies are going to be, maybe your harmonies, and like you'll spend like 4 hours comping this thing together, comping this main take, and that's like a part of it, is figuring it out. You got to comp it up, chop it, tune this here, do that here, and then you're like, all right, like give me one more for safety, and then they just do one pass and you're like, that's the one. But it took us working on all those little things here. Like there was that one moment where everybody was like, that was really dope, and it gave the artist like this little bit of energy, and then like everything that comes after that, they just like fucking hit it, and it's like you think like, damn, we just spent 4 hours, like I just, as an engineer, I got 1,000 different clips here to make this vocal take, but then you just went in and killed it.
I think that's what it always is, and it's always about the take. It's always about the take. And I would say that as like someone that really, it took like a minute. I even had to learn that. That was like a big thing. But I always be like mixing something. And bro, it's such a bitch, bro, when you're like working with someone. Because I used to do the same thing. I just work like, in high school and stuff. I used to like mix some people's stuff just on the side. And, even in college, like I was in college for like a couple years. And it's just such a bitch. And someone like says, like records a take, thinks it's good, and is like banging on me to fucking mix it and make it what they want it to be, because they have this idea in their head. And that's also a very hard part of music, is like, especially when you record or make a song, you're away from the studio, you come in and the engineer does it and it's not how you heard it, and it's like, I can't help you with that, you know what I'm saying? Or like, so that's why it's beautiful for me that like I can engineer it or record it or do my own stuff, because like I know how I want it to hear, and then I'll work on that literally hours until I hear it. Or sometimes it'll be minutes. Like Day He Died, like I finished that song in like 15 minutes. I finished that like hook and chorus in like 15 minutes.
It's all about the feeling of when you were doing that.
Exactly.
I'll be recording in my studio with my little like 57 microphone. Be like, all right, let's just get these melodies out. Let's just get this. I'll work it out, and then I'll get on the good microphone and do it. And like by this time the song's done, it's like, that first take, like who gives a fuck about the plosives and the S's? Exactly, like that one just feels so good. Let's just rock with that. It's
God, like that's what I'm saying. Like I was in the studio with Dawson, and he's got everything you can imagine, like every equipment, and that's where we did Crash Shot, and so much went into that song. And then like, Can't See Your Face, I'm on like a Focusrite in my like apartment with like a fucking guitar mic like plugged in, and just like on my laptop. And like it just happened, and it just recorded and just sounded, and I hit it fucking perfectly. And I just vibed with it like crazy, and that and even like you can't repeat that, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, exactly. Like, and if you're a good enough producer, like you clean out the other stuff.
Like if it feels good, it's like Justin Bieber on stage at the Grammys. Like there's no tune on that. Like the microphone isn't perfect, the guitar isn't perfect, nothing's perfect, but he performed it. in such a compelling way that you don't need it. It's like when you listen to like old Led Zeppelin records or like old recordings, like they're noisy as hell.
Yeah.
They're distorted. You
Yeah.
know, something dips out. The tape splice wasn't good.
Yeah.
But it's like, that doesn't matter. Like that stuff will outlast any of the high production stuff that
Yeah,
we're making
100%.
now because
Yeah.
the performance was so good. Like the heart and soul of it is so good.
100%.
You know, figuring out how to capture that. I mean, that's the game we play in these studios.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's like such a big thing. I think like just making music overall as a whole, like, you know, if you're good enough and you that love is there for it, bro, like that equipment. And
Yeah.
sometimes that distortion, that like sound like you get from a guitar mic, or that like even I think when we did Gone by Tomorrow, just like kicking it, we didn't even like set up like crazy. Like we had every equipment in the world at that studio, but like we just shot
the music's playing in the room.
bro,
Like fuck it.
Yeah, like there's probably overlay, but like who cares, bro? It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, but it was dope as fuck, and it just became what it is, and like
That's what I loved about like, you know, I learned a lot about what I do doing hip hop music. That's kind of what I got into first. And, you know, I worked at a studio that did a lot of different things like classical stuff, orchestration, pop music, Foley, ADR, like everything. And, you know, you were taught, like you get this $20,000 microphone to this perfect chain. The artist comes in, they do their vocal warm-ups, they have their tea with their lemon. You have to get the lighting right, and you got to get the mood right. And that work, you know, that'll work for certain people.
Yeah.
And then hip hop, you'd be in a room with like 30 dudes, microphone in the room. The artist just walks in, chains jingling, and gets on the mic, and it's like, that's the coolest thing I've ever recorded. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's dope.
and it
That's
sounds
just, like,
so
the
good,
vibe.
and it was just the vibe. The vibes
That's like
are all
people be
there.
doing their tea and all this, bro, and I'll be like, I'm literally like
Smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I got these like thin like cigarette type cigars, that I'll like just smoke, and like I'm like just like ripping, like just chain smoking them while I'm like, you know, while I'm just recording.
All our favorite singers
Yeah.
smoked hella cigarettes, man. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the thing.
But it's just like a vibe, and it's just dope. And you're just by yourself, so nothing's performative, you're just doing it because it's fucking, it feels right.
Yeah, it's just
But
fun.
I remember, actually, I think a lot of labels want that clear studio sound. They hate the distortion. And you hear a lot of artists say that too. But I will say, like, I had one meeting with the SVP, I think it is, at Interscope, Sam, where we talked and we discussed about, like, he gave me some advice and said, like, you don't really want your first album to be so studio, like, because you want your fans to grow with you. Like, if it's so perfect, like, it almost, like, you know, almost messes with you. And I think that, like, really stuck with me, of being like, yo, like, that, like, you know what I'm saying, like, there is room to grow, and like your fans want to, they fuck with that sometimes, that authentic,
they fuck with you, not a perfect microphone.
Yes, exactly.
You know?
And that's
like
what
it is.
Exactly. I think SoundCloud days showed that these people were recording in like a closet off Band Lab, like, you know, and it's just like, or even like the Bieber performance, like, it didn't sound the best, but that's the one that they're gonna listen to probably more than the actual studio
100%.
version of the song he performed. And that's why you always see people listen to the live versions, and that's why even going into the pop-up, I like really wanted to make it. I have like, I think night 2 in New York, where we have like a whole setup to record record the whole thing for a live version of Can't See Your Face, the single to come out after.
Nice.
And I just think that we're doing it differently. We're not doing as much synth. We're doing more like guitar and stuff, because I think fans like really fuck with that, and like it's just different. It's more authentic, and yeah, I'm super excited for